So, Coach Lee's another good weekend. Actually, a good month for the Cougs. 4 straight series for the first time since 1995. What got your team going this last month?
Well, a lot of things. We started really pitching well. Played a higher level defense. Our offense has been, pretty much good the whole year. But when you add the addition of what Damon Jones can do, and you put Walker where he should be, and then with what Cody Anderson's been continually doing for a majority of this season, you have a chance to be very good. It's everything we envisioned with this club as we recruited them, as we started the season, and I think they're coming into their own. I really like the energy. I like the toughness that they're showing, the absolute resilience to not get beat and not give up, and it's been a fun group to be around.
Talk a couple guys individually, offensively. Justin Hare and J.J. Hancock kind of got going last weekend, and then but Andres Alvarez at the top of the order. He had 571 last weekend.
Yeah, wow.
What couple of those guys and maybe somebody else. Talk about the offense the last couple of weeks.
Well, talk about Andres first. He's been a real spark plug for us to have at the top of the order. Feel good about him leading off a game. I think the rest of our dugout can gain some information on pitching because he battles, he sees pitches, and he's been finding his way on base. And when you get a leadoff hitter on as much as we have as of late, you're able to have an offense. And we caution guys, and hitting versus offense are two totally different things. And you can beat other teams if you have an offense, but you may not hit. And so he's been a good spark plug for that. And what JJ and Hare have done the last couple of weekends, for 2 years we really haven't had them be on the same page. And in regards to showing up, and it's usually one or the other, and so having the emergence of the middle of our order show up in that 5-6 hole with what the top 4 hitters have been doing, very excited about that. And Blake Clanton's been playing very well. We've been between him and Ramsauer, a right and left-handed DH, and we're getting hits out of that DH hole that have also helped us. And you look at Cal Waterman, it's been a nice addition. He's been catching a lot. He's earned that spot, and he's done a very good job behind the plate, but he's done some very good things at the plate as well. So when you put all those things together, and you have the determination of who these kids are and what they're doing on a daily basis, that's why we're winning.
Defensively, maybe for the season your numbers aren't what you want them to be, but the last couple of weeks you guys have played some top-level defense. What's changed, or what's the approach in the last couple of weeks and defensively?
Yeah, I don't know if anything's changed as far as because they've worked the whole year. But it's, if you look at the games we've won and lost, it's usually a combination between pitching and defense. And we talk about it a lot, as we have for the last 15 years that I've been coaching baseball, but we have high-end defenders. Matheny, Andres, Rudkin is, one of the reasons we played so well this weekend defensively is because of what James Rudkin did at first base, as far as digging balls and things like that. And then you look at the plays that J.J. made up against the fence, and the one that Danny Sinatra made in the gap, and Shane Matheny was just a highlight reel the whole weekend, along with the Andres. Those things are starters for us offensively as well. We've talked a lot about defensive RBIs and how important that is, and we had a lot of defensive RBIs, which helps pitch counts, helps Damon go an extra inning, helps our bullpen so we don't have to use sooner. So all those things combined, really help our defense.
And then leading into the pitching, a couple of great efforts the last couple of weeks from Damon Jones on Friday nights, and then Cody Anderson's followed up. What have you seen from those guys? And then also talk about your bullpen that's kind of settled in with Walker and Sunich.
Well, Damon is doing the things that we believed he could do, from last season. He ended the season very well with 4 or 5 straight outings that were quality outings. And, up through about half the season, it was just okay. You can see the frustration in him, our team, our coaching staff, because we know what he's capable of doing. But he's been showing up for the last few weeks, and you've seen the change in our team when we can roll a person out on a Friday night that will give us a chance. It allows us to put Walker back in the pen where he is better for our team, And then Cody Anderson's just done a tremendous job all year. And if it wasn't for him, doing what he's doing, I don't know where we'd be right now either. And so then you add with what Walker's doing in the pen, Scotty Senich has just pitched lights out in league. He's the last couple 3 weekends, he has been very, very good. Not only I know his ERA shows it, but he's been good. And I look at what Kobe Neely's doing as well. People have had big outs for us. A.J. Block had a big out for us in Utah. Parker McFadden had a big out for us in Utah. So I think Spence is really doing a good job putting those kids in situations where they can help us, whether it be one AB or an inning or 2 innings. But he's put them in roles they think they're comfortable with, and they know when they're going to pitch and what opportunity that they have. And not only have they taken advantage of it, but it's helped us win. So that's feel good about that, where that's going.
Now, a special week here. You go and face a top-ranked team in the country in Oregon State, but also a place you're very familiar with, you and Spencer. So talk about this week, maybe baseball-wise first, and then obviously a special week for you and Spence going back home.
Well, Oregon State's been good for a very long time, and they've got a special group of kids this year that, quite frankly, are on a mission. And they've got quality, the best pitching staff in the country by numbers and by watching them. They do very well. They can pitch in the beginning, the middle, the end. They can mix and match. You're going to face 3 quality starters. In college ranks, when you look at what those guys have done, Heimlich's is very good. Now they've got Rasmussen back. Thompson, didn't even get drafted last year, and he's one of the best pitchers in the country. They all have a chance to be big leaguers. So the opportunity for us to go down and play Oregon State, it's good for us right now. We're playing our best baseball, and you have to play good baseball against them because errors and missed pitches and not taking advantage of runners at second, third, or third. They will make you pay the price. They're that deep defensively. They're that deep offensively. They can, on any given day, they'll start, up to 15, 16 different guys, and they just don't regress at any position, whether it be right or left-handed. And I know it's going to be a packed house, as it should be when you have the place that has the #1 ranked team in the country. Coach Casey's, obviously the staff is very good friends of ours, and I owe everything I've got going in life to what he's given me the opportunity to do. So looking forward to that, but when the first pitch is thrown, there's you're not friends anymore. You're trying to win, and they've got a good thing going. Like to, they're working for a #1, as far as seeding in the country. So a lot at stake for everybody, but I'm just excited that we've been playing so well, and really haven't thought about what could happen in a week or 2 weeks. I've been more invested in what getting our kids better, getting them in the moment, and getting to play the way that they can play.
Let's go. Any questions on the phone line for Coach Lees?
Yes, Coach Lee, Josh Chris from Moscow Pullman Daily News. How do you mentally prepare your offense for facing that #1 pitching staff in the country?
Well, we go about it just kind of like the way we've been going about it the last few weeks. You look at Brimmer at Washington, very good, one of the best pitchers in the league, and as a staff. And then you go to Utah and you get 2 of their best pitchers. They're around, as far as in the league. And you move on to Oregon, that's got Peterson and Mercer and Stringer, and then you back it up with Canning, Bird, and Olson. They're all good. It can be mentally grinding at times because sometimes you don't get the result with a specific AB that you have, but you really have to move on and have short-term memory because, if you let the first AB beat you for the next 4 or the next 15 that you have in the weekend, you just can't have success thinking about that and worrying about it. So, we'll prepare the best we know how, be aggressive when we can, and live in the moment. see what we can do.
All right, the Beavers are 19-1 at home. So what key aspect does your program need to focus on this weekend in order to steal a couple of road wins?
Well, we just need to worry about us first. That's my, I would tell you that Coach Casey is, he may be thinking about us, but he's more concerned about the Beavers, as I am with the Cougars. And so, we just need to continue to play good baseball and give ourselves a chance to win. Like I said, the Beavers have many different ways to beat you. They've had a lot of games where they've come back and been down and had, walk-off wins or come back and score a couple. And so if you just don't take care of your own business, it's pretty hard to think about taking care of, Oregon State.
Any other questions on the line for Coach?
Yes, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Danny Moran with Oregonian. Hello?
Hi, Danny. How are you?
Good. Appreciate your time. I've got a couple broader questions just about Pat. You've been away from Corvallis for a few years now. Since you've taken over as a head coach, are there things about him, even though you already knew him well, that maybe you have more respect for or a better appreciation for now that you've served a similar role as him as coach?
Well, Case is, I think they're 11 or 12 years, and so, he hired me as a high school baseball coach. So my learning curve was, I had a lot to learn about, recruiting, coaching, parenting, you name it. And for him to give me that opportunity was big, and I wouldn't have been able to move on to Oklahoma State and learn from another coach and Josh Holliday and then be able to take a head position if I didn't have those opportunities. But what he has done and created in Corvallis is really second to none. I cannot think of any other program in the country that has literally built it from scratch, just from the winning standpoint, building a stadium. I don't remember much money coming from the school when I was there and building that stadium. And so he took the time to go out and get people energized about building a program, seeing a vision, and then now they're reaping the rewards of that vision. And the house is packed now. Every game you can't even get a ticket. It's become that important. So he's built a monster, and he's built it from the ground up. He's built it on character and toughness and people believing in what they can do. And for that, it's until you're in it and you see it, it's a special deal. But as far as my thoughts on Case and how it's changed and helped me, I wouldn't have the visions. I use a lot of the same stuff that I in the last 14 years, 15 years that I've learned from Coach Casey and Coach Holliday to bring into Washington State to see if we can build the exact same thing.
Two more just quick follow-ups.
Yeah.
As far as the recruiting aspect, they've got, look at Madrigal and Grenier up the middle, guys that are from outside the Pacific North. Do you think, from a recruiting perspective, that program is still paying dividends from what you guys were able to do 10 years ago with the College World Series wins? And is it harder at all now? Because I think Case has talked about how more teams kind of became aware of the talent in the Pacific Northwest after those World Series wins. Is there a big difference that you can tell from a recruiting perspective that you guys maybe have to go through compared to 10 years ago?
Well, I think, they are obviously in a situation, they're a well-known baseball program. They could recruit, the whole country, and they've went outside the area to recruit some things. But there's some new baseball teams in the area, too. Oregon's done a very good job recruiting, and now they're getting kids in the Northwest. And Lindsey Meggs has brought a new, idea to recruiting at University of Washington. We have been recruiting hard in the Northwest, and the Arizona States, people like that used to come up and get those kids and really take their pick. And I think that with what was happening in the early phases in that 2004 through 7 range, when Darwin Barney and Dallas Buck and Kevin Gunderson and that group of kids decided to stay in the Northwest, it was big. Jacoby Ellsbury decided to go to school and stay in the Northwest, and I know I'm missing another 25 kids that decided to do that, but that helped. And you just look at the North. I mean, there's only so many kids that go around, and some kids do get plucked from other schools. But when you have that opportunity, no matter where the baseball player is, if he's good and he can help your program, you go get him. And those are two very quality kids. I've known Nick Madrigal since he was in the 8th grade. So that is no secret to recruiting Sacramento in those areas, because those were hotbeds for Oregon State for a long time. But they've done a really good job, and it just continues with the assistant coaches that they have. They know who they are. They know what type of kid that they want. They know what type of kid can continue to have success and play at an elite level.
And lastly, for me, what's the biggest challenge of working for Pat?
The biggest challenge? No, there's no challenges. It's you're either in or you're out. You better come ready to coach and recruit and compete just like he does. That's what it's about. That's why they are who they are and why that program is where they are, because of the competitive spirit in Coach Casey and his willingness to never give up. I never know. I used to sit in the dugout and we'd be up 6, and I would sometimes think we were down 6, just because he, that's just who he is. And so that's probably one of the things that helped me, over the long haul is no matter what, you can never give up, ever.
Thank you, Marty. I appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks, Danny.